Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech and Auto Show. I'm your host Manav Sinha, and it is so good to see all of you lovely people once again. You're watching that one show which satisfies your hunger for both technology as well as automobiles at one place. So without any further ado, let's kick things off by showing you a glimpse of what you can expect over the course of the next half an hour. This week, we make your internet speeds a little bit faster. Also, scratch that itch for going out for a drive and talk about what's going on in the Indian automotive industry. So there you have it, all of that action will be coming your way, but we're going to kick things off with perhaps one of the biggest things out there in our lives right now, which is our internet speeds. You see, since all of us are at home, which we should be doing that right now, our internet consumption has gone through the roof. But what if you wanted a little bit more speed at your home? Well, Shovik has some tips and tricks just for you. Take a look.
Work from home is all set to be a permanent feature of all of our lives going forward, and as a result, the home internet connection has become more important than ever before. Now, while you might have subscribed to the best internet plan available in your neighborhood, you might still not be getting the best of speeds, or for that matter, the range of Wi-Fi in your home. In this video, we talk you through simple do-it-yourself steps that you can undertake in order to maximize the Wi-Fi range at your home and ensure that you get the best internet connectivity possible. We also talk about a couple of accessories such as routers and extenders for laptops, which you can buy in order to make sure that you get the best internet experience that's possible. Now the first step that we're going to recommend is, you guessed it right, placing your Wi-Fi router correctly. This is pretty important since all of our homes nowadays are filled with electronic devices, and as electronic gadgets go, they have their own field of interference which might be obstructing your Wi-Fi signal from reaching you properly. To make sure that you get the best Wi-Fi signal possible all across your home, make sure that you place the router at a particular corner that is free from electronic gadgets all around it and is also strategically placed so that it is equidistant from all rooms. The ideal position might be something like a living room corner which is not filled with devices such as electronics, and this can go a long way in making sure that you get the best Wi-Fi signal as possible. Now the next step that we talk about is something that DIY enthusiasts have been recommending Wi-Fi users for time immemorial, and that is to use metal reflectors to get the most of your Wi-Fi router antenna. Now the router antennas are placed in such a way that the signals are given out in all directions, and some of it might get lost due to its positioning against a back wall. To make sure that this doesn't happen and the signal is instead bounced back to you, what you can do is to cut out a soda can and place it strategically against your router antenna so that the signals are instead directed towards you instead of going waste against the back wall. This might have an incremental effect in making sure that you get better internet connectivity, at least in terms of range, all across your home. The third step is something that's also equally important, and that is to make sure that you select the correct Wi-Fi channel for your SSID to operate on. Your Wi-Fi ID operates on particular channels, and depending on which bandwidth you're on, that is 2.4 GHz or 5 GHz, your Wi-Fi channel is going to be defined accordingly. The internet has a number of useful explainers to help you understand which channel should you be selecting. Now, while most routers do the channel selection automatically, if you're not getting the best connection despite having subscribed to a good internet connection, it is always a good practice to log on to your Wi-Fi router settings, access your bandwidth settings, and see which channel your router is operating on. You can also run command prompt on your Windows or Mac device to figure out which Wi-Fi connections around you are using which particular channels, and hence make sure that you select the one channel that is relatively less congested in your neighborhood. The next step that we're talking about is for people who are still stuck using old laptops and as a result can only access Wi-Fi on the 2.4 GHz band. Now for such users, you might be feeling that upgrading your laptop just for your Wi-Fi experience might be a bit of an expensive procedure, and you wouldn't be wrong in thinking so. For this, we have the perfect accessory for you to purchase. The Netgear Nighthawk A7000 Wi-Fi USB router plugs into any Mac or Windows laptop and gives you dual band Wi-Fi access along with good stability and the reputation that Netgear comes with. It is available on most e-commerce sites for about $4,500, and while that might seem like a steep price for a Wi-Fi adapter, it is still far more economical than having to upgrade your laptop in order to get good internet connection on your device. The final step that we have to recommend is to do the inevitable and upgrade your Wi-Fi router. Now, doing so might not be in your list of expenditures, but it is an important one-time spend to make since you are mostly going to be working from home for the rest of the year and maybe even further into the future. Devices such as the TP-Link Archer C6 is a pretty good investment for a router that is not exorbitantly priced. At the time of reporting, it costs about $2,300 on major e-commerce websites. The router offers AC 1200 dual band Wi-Fi, and for people who subscribe to fiber line internet connectivity, it is a very reliable router to own. With good speeds and the reliability of the TP-Link brand, the TP-Link Archer C6 is one of the best routers that we can recommend for you to purchase. And with that, we come to a wrap in terms of our recommendation for the best Wi-Fi practices to increase range at home. With the DIY steps and the equipment upgrades suggested, you can be rest assured that you will get the best Wi-Fi range at home possible as you work from home for the long term.
So now that we've helped you make your internet speeds a little bit faster, it's now time to scratch your itch of going out for a drive. But we're going to do that in a little bit of a different manner. What am I on about? Well, take a look. Now, if I look back at the number of days I've spent being at home, which is of course the right thing to be doing right now, well, I think I've pretty much lost count of how many days it has been. It's been going on for so long. However, if you're someone like me who likes being inside a car, who likes going out for drives, who likes to experience the entire idea of driving a car, well, there's not a lot of things that we can do, can we? Well, there is something that we can do, all thanks to gaming, because there are some fantastic driving games out there that can help you scratch that itch of going out for a drive. So here are our top 5 picks of driving games just for you. With that said, the list is in no particular order as the games have been chosen to keep a diversity of driving styles in mind. So make sure you try them all out to find which gameplay style suits you the best. Real Racing 3. This is arguably one of the greatest racing games ever built for a mobile device. At this point in time, the game is 7 years old, but it still has one of the best graphics of current gen racing games. Its strong point has to be the gameplay experience with over 40 officially licensed circuits at 19 real-world locations, a 43-car grid, and over 250 meticulously detailed cars from manufacturers like Porsche, Bugatti, Chevrolet, Aston Martin and Audi. Plus, there is a real-time multiplayer, social leaderboards, a hub dedicated to Formula 1 and championship events, time trials, night racing, and an innovative time-shifted multiplayer mode which allows you to race the ghosts of lap records set by your friends at different tracks. Try to beat their times and see how your performance stacks up as against the lap times set by your friends. There are over 4,000 events that you can take part in, and the game also features realistic engine noises of over 250 cars that it has. If you like racing and like gaming, then you really have to try this. CSR Racing 2. If racing on the racetrack is not your thing, then perhaps you can try drag racing. And in that respect, there's nothing that comes close to CSR Racing 2. It features over 200 officially licensed vehicles from the world's most desirable car manufacturers from around the world, and the game's biggest USP are its graphics. The CSR Racing 2 features high-definition model of all the cars and has a console-like look to it. You can compete with online players and have a story mode too. You can customize your cars completely, and the game also offers a special augmented reality mode which lets you bring your customized car to life using your smartphone camera and places it in your surroundings. As for realistic gameplay, you get to even tinker around with the car's mechanics, which has a clear impact on how your car performs. Need for Speed No Limits. Well, you cannot talk about a list of racing games and not mention a Need for Speed title. If you want to experience the typical Need for Speed gameplay where you can take some of the most exotic cars in the world, customize them to your liking with lights, wide body kits, wheels, and take them out to the street for racing, then the Need for Speed No Limits is the game for you. The game has over 25 lakh customization combinations to play around with, which means you can really have your car stand out of the crowd. On top of that, the game also has races in the night, which are a visual treat. Accelerate over jumps, around debris, into traffic, against walls, and through high-speed nitro zones. You can also clash with local crews and of course, the cops. At the core of it, Need for Speed No Limits is a true NFS experience. Trucks off-road. Now that we have spoken about racing on the racetracks, the drag strip and the streets, there is another very big form of racing that often goes under the radar, and that is off-roading. These games are supposed to offer a different gameplay experience and their own set of challenges too. Like, how would the car perform in mud? And how do different tuning setups affect the gameplay? Trucks Off-Road nails it on that part when it comes to mudding and bogging and clocking fast lap times. In this, you can compete in licensed mud parks in freestyle, circuit racing, drag racing, mud bogging, and open play events, or take on a career mode to earn championship belts. You can get your hands on several different kinds of trucks that get dirtier as you bog through mud. It will get clearer as it goes through water, and there is damage simulation too, just to make things realistic. There's plenty to tinker around with as well, as you can tinker your truck by upgrading mechanical items such as engine blocks, blower for the whistle noise, exhaust, radiators, turbochargers, transmissions. You get the idea. You also have a host of visual customization options as well. All in all, you get everything you need to send it. Project Drift. The only kind of driving experience that is left to talk about is drifting, and when it comes to that, Project Drift takes the cake. The best part about the game is the realistic physics, which can often be confusing too, as there is a learning curve involved with the game, but that also means that the reward is that much sweeter. The game has a very no-nonsense approach to everything. You start the game and you just have a single intro screen and no graphic-intensive videos or animations like other games. The home screen gives you an option to choose between lots of cars, which you will have to buy from the in-game currency, of course. And once you select the car, you have to select between 5 game modes. I spend the most time in career mode though, where you will have to cross 25 levels, wherein you are only allowed a set number of crashes and limited time. These get more difficult as you progress through the game. The tracks are very intriguing to play, and it takes some time getting used to it, just like in the real life. And once you do, you are in for a treat. Now, as we try to bring back some state of normalcy in our lives, well, one of the industries that's been added is the Indian automotive industry. They're opening up some of their manufacturing plants, they're opening up some of their dealerships, and are fulfilling the orders that they had all the way back in March. However, there's also the big challenge of how do they interest new buyers in buying their cars, and what are the things that they can do to get customers' trust. Well, in order to find that out, we got in touch with someone special at MG Motor India, and here's how that conversation went.
Hello everyone, I have with me Mr. Rajiv Chhabha, who is the President and MD of MG Motor India. Mr. Chhabha, welcome and thanks for talking to News18. How badly has COVID-19 affected the business and the brand?
I think we all know it has impacted pretty badly. In fact, across the industry, I would say not only car business, but across. But now, since last few weeks, some openings have happened, and factories are operating now at a very small capacity. Only 20-25% capacity is operating from. It's difficult to restart, in my opinion, to get people back to plant, to office, and to organize the material supply chain, transportation. Overall, I would say we are at this juncture where I think all of us, in collaboration with the government and state government and local governments, have to really embrace the virus, take all possible precautions, but get going now. And we need to start production, and we need to start selling and buying.
You showcased the Gloucester and the six-seater Hector at the Auto Expo. So do you think the plans to launch the vehicle is on track, or will they be shifted according to the market?
Yeah, so we have two launches, notable launches this year. Before Gloucester, we are launching Hector Plus, which is a six-seater, and we should be launching that in July kind of a time frame. And Gloucester, which we showcased and got rave reviews in Auto Expo, that our plan still is to launch before Diwali time. Certain things have been delayed, but hopefully in the next few months we can try to cover up when we are allowed to function 100%.
You also talked about community service. Now, there was a very unique initiative of giving the Hector as converting your Hectors into ambulances and giving to frontline warriors. So, can you talk more about it and what all community service has MG done?
So our engineering team talked about converting one Hector into ambulance, and we gave it to the CMO, Chief Medical Officer of the local district, and then it was really appreciated. And in fact, there's a lockdown going on, so during that lockdown to work on this, the workshop was not very easy, but our employees came forward and they did it. So really good. Not only that, they also came out with many other suggestions, like, as you know, in April, everything was closed, so our test drive cars were available. So one suggestion was, why don't we make our test drive cars available to the doctors and to the nurses, the front warriors? And across the country, we did that. Then, now first week of May, our workshops have started opening. So we said, listen, we can sanitize police cars. So we came out with this initiative that why can't we sanitize police cars across the country? I'm happy to say within 10 days, we have sanitized more than 1,000 cars.
How do you see the market evolving in the next few months? Diwali time is a high time for the sales. Then the new year comes. BS6 is also into effect. There was a lot of talks that BS6 will revive the market.
It's a very strange and unique situation for Indian automotive industry. It's not only the virus issue, but also, 1 year before the virus, I think industry was really in a bad shape. And was trying to recover, and we thought 2020 will be good, but this virus came, and it happened that on 1st of April we had to switch over to BS6. So a lot of things happening at the same time, so it's a double or triple whammy to the auto industry. For us in MG India, we are still fortunate. I would say that we have some wait list, and some customers have asked for the immediate delivery. So hopefully we can improve on the supply chain and can cater. So hopefully by Diwali time, situation should improve, but overall the industry is going to be anywhere from 17% to 22% down this year.
Thanks for talking to News18.
Before all of this coronavirus thing took over the world, well, I did get a chance to cover a really special story which I had done all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, USA. You see, there's this company called Magic Wheelchair who make wheelchairs for kids, and they're giving them automobility, all thanks to technology. It's a perfect story for us as they bring together technology and automobiles just like our show. And they're using 3D printing technology to make some of the coolest wheelchairs out there. What am I on about? Let's take a closer look at that story.
I'm the Executive Director of Magic Wheelchair. Magic Wheelchair is a non-profit organization that builds epic costumes for kids with disabilities at no cost to families. We were officially founded in 2015. The first year we built about 5 costumes, and now we've delivered 226 to families all over the country and internationally, and it's all free to families. So Magic Wheelchair was started by my friend Ryan, who was building Halloween costumes for his sons who have the same disease that I have, spinal muscular atrophy. It's a progressive neuromuscular disease. We met many years ago, and then we connected again after he started building Magic Wheelchairs. And in those 10 years, I actually developed nonprofit background. That's what I studied in school, and that's what I've been doing for my career. So it was a pretty perfect fit to join forces and grow this. And we joke about world domination. So that's my hope. Right now, we're building building for kids up to about age 18. I would like to break the rules soon and start building for adults, but we do have a wait list with kids right now. So once we can get through that, I would like to expand our services to adults, because everyone deserves a chance to self-express and cosplay at Comic-Con and be who they want to be. From every part of the process. Sometimes we will 3D print pieces to help mount the costumes to the wheelchairs. Other times our artists will 3D print just embellishments to add to a princess carriage or buttons. And other times they are entirely 3D printed head to toe. But also the 3D design allows us to scale the costumes to the size of the wheelchair before we start cutting any foam or cutting any plastic. So it lets us make it a really custom, personalized fit for the child. We take into account their mobility issues, if they need to reach their wheels to push their pushchair, if they have use of their hands. We'll even give them like adaptive buttons to shoot Nerf darts or press, sounds and lights. So really they're the bosses, and we just try to give everything that we can to them. I see only improvements from here on out. And we're just celebrating mobility devices, but the technology that's coming around the bend now is going to change the way that we support people with disabilities. I think it's going to be a lot more personalized, a lot more appropriate, and a lot easier to just live in the world. The Magic Wheelchair experience is truly magical because you're taking the idea of a child and you're using your skills that you have as an adult to change their world. So folks who have very normal jobs are suddenly using these skills to create literal magic and inclusion for kids who truly deserve it.
And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of the Tech and Auto Show. How did you find the show? Is there anything you have to say, anything you want us to cover, or simply want to have a conversation? Reach out to us on Twitter. We are more than happy to talk. If it's about technology, reach out to us at News18 Tech. If it's about automobiles, reach out to us at News18 Auto. And remember, by logging on to news18.com, you can read up more on both these industries. Well, that's about all for today. I'll catch you same time next week, only on CNN News 18.